One of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve, and so that is one of the things. That's one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group in the administration. So as soon as we get all of that set up, we're still waiting for some cabinet secretaries who are on the working group to get confirmed. So we're still in the very early stages of this. But that's one of the first things we're gonna look at is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve. I think the concept of the sovereign wealth fund is a little separate, and you'd have to talk to Secretary Lutnick, or soon to be Secretary Lutnick, about that.
Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the United States government is very serious about attaining a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We have another clip at the end of the video about the Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States, but you can see right here, the states in the US are also looking to acquire these Bitcoin strategic reserves. And we can see right here, these states are looking to obtain a massive amount of Bitcoin. Texas is looking at getting 240,000 BTC. You have Arizona looking at getting 15,000, Utah 12,000, Wyoming 16,000. These states are trying to acquire a lot of BTC, and Florida's at 45,000. So global Bitcoin adoption is coming, and today is a big day for MicroStrategy. Why? Because we have the earnings call today. It's today at 3 p.m. Arizona time. That's where I'm located. So depending on where you're located, it may be a little different, but make sure to stay tuned for their earnings call. They may be announcing some pretty big things that we haven't even thought of yet, so be watching out for that. And if you miss it, we'll keep you up to date on anything that comes out with the MicroStrategy earnings call. So a big day there for MicroStrategy. And then if we look at the most actively traded US stocks yesterday, MicroStrategy actually fell down the list here a bit. We still had $4.35 billion of volume, but keep in mind, the ATM is closed, and Saylor has not been tapping the ATM at all, and they're still getting $4.35 billion of volume. Definitely a good sign there for MicroStrategy. And then a lot of people have been talking about the new offering STRK. You can see here from Glenn Hoddle. He says you're trading reduced downside risk and a quarterly income for reduced upside potential if you invest in STRK. If MicroStrategy goes to zero, you should get $100 back per STRK as opposed to losing all your money. If MicroStrategy goes to $1,000, you'll be up 25% on your STRK buys at $80 as opposed to about 3x if you bought MicroStrategy today. If MicroStrategy goes to around 10,000, you'd 12.5x your STRK investment as opposed to 30x if you just bought MicroStrategy. So you guys that have been thinking about investing in the STRK, I hope this gives you some guidance. I hope this gives you some clarity there, and we can see the market just opened. MicroStrategy is currently trading at 347, and if you guys need a brokerage to trade MicroStrategy, check out MooMoo. If you sign up with the affiliate link in the comment section below, you can get up to 30 free stocks for a limited time. It's basically free money, so make sure to check that out if you guys haven't already. And I have a lot of Bitcoin news to get into. A lot of companies have been buying Bitcoin here, but before we get into that, you can see Costco is installing LibertyX Bitcoin ATMs at every store across the United States. Big news there. And then from Plan B, he says almost 1 year since the halving, Bitcoin red dots are turning orange and then yellow, entering the second stage of the bull market. So you can see in his stock to flow model that he has here, after we get out of this red zone and get into the orange and yellow, it starts to become even more bullish. That's what we've seen in the prior cycles, and that's where we're going right now. So we could potentially see Bitcoin move up even more over the next couple of months. And then ARK Invest says that they are confirming that their Bitcoin price prediction is still on pace to meet its 2030 price targets. So their low bear case is around 300,000 by 2030. Their bull case is 1.5 million by 2030. They're saying that is still on track. And I'm gonna go ahead and run through these companies that have been buying Bitcoin. There's a lot of updates here, but you can see DMG Blockchain Solutions. They now hold 431 Bitcoin. They added some Bitcoin versus their December 2024 numbers. So you can see they're stacking there. That is good to see. And then you have Bitcoin Depot. They purchased an additional $5 million in Bitcoin as part of its treasury strategy. With yesterday's purchase, they got 51 Bitcoin. Now the company holds 71.5 Bitcoin in its treasury. And then Neptune expands their Bitcoin treasury by 20 Bitcoin. You can see they purchased those Bitcoin between January 26th and February 3rd for around $2 million. Now they hold 376 total BTC there. And then Genesis Group, they just increased their Bitcoin treasury to 440 BTC. We have Matador, they strengthened their Bitcoin treasury, adding another 3.46 Bitcoin, Canadian, around $500,000. Now they have total Bitcoin of 68.14 BTC. And then you have the ETF flows from yesterday. The Bitcoin ETF saw $340 million in net flows, and the Ethereum ETFs are now starting to see some pretty big inflows as well, around $307 million. So a lot of companies picking up Bitcoin right now. A lot of these companies are following what MicroStrategy has been doing over the past couple of years. They see the success and they want to hold Bitcoin for the long term, and they're not going to stop buying. So we have corporate adoption, we have nation state adoption, we have state level adoption, all coming right now. The Bitcoin price is just under $100,000. I don't think it's going to last there for very long. That's just my personal opinion, but very, very bullish for Bitcoin, especially with the ETFs. They're still buying BTC as well. But I do have a clip I want to share with you guys. Make sure to check it out. Like and subscribe if you found any value. Subscribe. We have new videos coming out every single day. Make sure to check out the MicroStrategy earnings call today. If you have time to, I highly recommend it. But we also will keep you up to date if you miss it. Let's go ahead and check out this clip here.
The Bitcoin reserve, you said that's being studied. It's one of the first things that's on the table here. What goes into that process? Is that something that would be standalone, or is that something that could potentially be tucked into, say, a sovereign wealth fund, which has been the speculation today on the heels of that executive order?
I guess it's possible that the sovereign wealth fund could decide that they want to make Bitcoin or digital assets part of its portfolio. You're going to have to ask the incoming Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick about that. The item that President Trump asked our working group on digital assets to study is whether it's feasible to create either a Bitcoin reserve or some sort of digital asset stockpile. And so we're going to be looking at that question. We haven't committed yet to doing it, but it's one of the first things we're going to be looking at.
Hey, David.